behalf of Nirvan University Jaipur, I welcome to the guest Ms. Lalita Pradeep and Professor Dr. Tanu Tandon, the Faculty of Education, to start the webinar Thursday series. So now I am handing over the mic to Professor Dr. Tanu Tandon on behalf of Nirvan University to lead the session now on forwards. Thank you. Handed over to Dr. Professor Tanu Tandon.
Thank you, Dr. Alok. Good afternoon. I welcome you all to another session in the webinar series, which has been an initiative by Indian Institute of Material Management in collaboration with Nirvan University, Jaipur. The webinar series has been initiated for the sole purpose of bringing global leaders and academicians on a single platform to share their views and insights. Today's webinar on a sensitive topic, diversity and inclusion in higher education, lends itself to intense deliberation and discussion and urges all to take necessary actions. When all children come together and study, they end the discrimination and also make the world a better place. So, to deliberate upon this important and sensitive topic, we have among us Ms. Lalita Pradeep, Additional Director, Basic Education, Uttar Pradesh. It gives me immense pleasure and pride to introduce Ms. Lalita Pradeep to all. A woman of substance, an effective administrator, visionary leader, and a creative educator. She has held many important positions in the Department of Education and has been instrumental in bringing revolutionary reforms in various programs under Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, KGBV, and capacity building of teachers and teacher educators. In fact, she has been pioneer in implementation of ICT in education long before it became a norm. She has developed a software for capacity training of teachers and teacher training management, which has received applaud from MHRD. She has been visionary and started using ICT and has trained hundreds of teachers in usage of ICT. She has been involved in various projects of MHRD along with Tata Institute of Social Sciences and also has been in the National Committee of Teacher Educators. Rightfully, she has been awarded by for her extensive work in field of education. She has been awarded by Government of Uttar Pradesh in 2009 in the area of her work on disability. She has also received the award of Women of Substance by Lucknow Management Association, which is of no surprise. And her passion for discovery and exploration is not limited to only academics, but has also led her to an expedition to Antarctica. She is doing her work and contributing to the growth of women hockey as well through her foundation, Shanti Foundation. So, on behalf of Nirvan University and on behalf of our pro president, Professor Ravi Goyal, who has been the guiding force behind this webinar and continues to inspire us, I welcome Ms. Lalita Pradeep ma'am to the platform and I urge her and request her to share her views on the topic of diversity and inclusion in higher education. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tanu Tandon. And I was very passionately listening to your introduction. And I must say that I found myself your words. Thank you so much. Couple of things, yeah. Dr. Ravi Kumar ji, Pro President, Nirvan University, Jaipur, and he is the chairman to IIM. I don't know whether he is present here, but my good wishes to him who had such kind of lecture series. And Mr. Purushottam Khandelwal's name on the flyer, and Mr. Arun Goyal, who is also from IIM, and then Dhirendra Malhotra from IIM. And of course, Dr. Tanu Chandan, who is in the second place, moderator and host to this show. I congratulate you all. And yeah, of course, my good wishes to the anchor. I heard that he has joined from some other place. And the best thing with technology is like you can be anywhere and still stay connected. I am today with you all from Prayagraj, and Prayagraj is raining since last 36 hours non-stop. So all those internet services, etc., they have crashed almost. So in case in the midway I disappear, please don't mind, because I promise to come back. Coming to the topic, thank you, Dr. Tanu. The topic is very, very important: diversity and inclusion in higher education. So I take that society flourishes with diversity and inclusion in its practices, and education campuses, they are the ground to nurture them. Unfortunately, in India, that proclaims and practice Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam since time unknown, it misses out the same in socio-cultural behavior. And one sees its obvious reflection in our behavior. Anything that does not conform to our set norms, that is looked upon as not normal, be it person, place, or a thing. So let's go back to our constitution. The Article 14 in the constitution, it provides for equality before the laws or equal protection within the territory of India. It guarantees equality to all persons. Equality is a very, very dynamic concept with many aspects and dimensions, and it just cannot be within bracket cribbed, cabined, and confined. This was delivered by Honorable Apex Court, Supreme Court in India, in a Roypa case that was way back in 1973. One NSSO report also says that a majority representation comes from socially deprived section of the society in higher education campuses. So there has been researches on this, and this is very, very interesting finding. I must say that it is the call of the day, the alarm of the day. It's important to boost up students' diversity in educational campuses. So the topic is definitely, I'm very happy that I have been invited on the webinar on this topic. This topic, in fact, yeah, diversity and equity, I feel very passionate and strong about this subject. So I must thank Professor Tanu Tandon, who is a great friend and old associate, and she had been helping around government system with an extraordinary approach to education. So I'm very happy. Thank you, Dr. Tandon. Certain groups are grossly underrepresented in current educational system, according to National Education Policy 2022. The NEP has combined gender identities, socio-cultural identities, geographical identities, disabilities, and socio-economic condition to form a new social group known as SEDG to specifically address their educational needs. The SEDGs is special educational zone. The majority of the policy's goal, it revolves around fostering inclusivity among these groups. As previously stated, these groups, they have high dropout rates for a variety of reasons. There may be, there is just not one, there are a bunch of reasons. It can range from lack of accessibility for tribal communities, if we go with geographical location, to historical exclusion of minorities from educational system for the socio-cultural identities categorization. So recognizing their unique national education policy, it has proposed series of policies and programs such as targeted scholarship, conditional cash transfers to incentivize parents to send their children to schools and providing bicycle for transportation or other means of transportation, all of which it has been shown in the past to increase enrollment and create more representation from socially underprivileged section of the society. And the idea is to bring inclusion in the educational system, through educational system, in the educational system. NEP 2020 also recognizes that female and transgender individuals across all the groups and socio-economic categories are most affected. They are definitely in the policy recognizes children with special need and belief in incorporating them into the mainstream education system. It broadly aligns with the objectives of the RPWD Act, which came in force in I think in 2016. So one of the standout recommendations of the NEP is the proposal to set up a special educational zone that is placed in regions where significant populations belonging to socio-economic disadvantaged groups are in those aspirational districts. The key purpose is to spread education in the remotest and the farthest places in India. This will be done by combining resources and aligning multiple schemes and programs of the center and state to transform these backward regions. I feel very, very proud to share that UP government has constituted, in fact, this is the news of the today, probably this has happened yesterday. UP government has constituted Kinder Kalyan Board, which is Transgender Welfare Board, with 23-member board. The vice president and 5 members to be nominated by Honorable Minister. They will be eunuchs. It has come a follow-up by the Honorable SC Specs Code Directive. They will get IDs and psychological counselings, etc., and their, the deficit in other areas that would be taken care of. So I think such kind of actions at the government level is the most welcome to bring inclusion in the society. And higher education campuses, they definitely come on the higher pedestal because they are the voice, they are the place where inclusion can actually nurture. So, Tanu, I want to segment my talk in 4 frames. Yes, I think you are going to say something.
I think that's extraordinary with the kinder which thing you talked about. That's
I guess so.
really remarkable.
Yes,
It's going to make a
absolutely. Yeah.
revolutionary change. Yes. But ma'am, I
Yeah,
would like to focus on the
absolutely.
governance and the administration point of thing when it comes to the higher education, first and foremost. Like how to implement
Okay.
those things and how to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'll frame this whole talk in 4 frames. As you said, management and governance. Yeah. So it's a very, very broader term, and it is mostly concerned with campus management, which includes practices within classroom and higher education campus at large. How it happens, that a bright student, he comes from a small native place with good grades, lands up in a huge campus and starts feeling underconfident, smaller, and not one of them. They do not feel welcome in campus. And at times they end up being lonely and harassed by elitism. No, I will repeat, elitism of the campus. In all probability, many such students, They are from smaller places, having rural backdrop, yeah, decent family background on the income side, if I say, with dreams in their eyes and determination and hearts to achieve something in life. And trust me, most of them, they do it too. But uh, बहुत मुश्किल होती है campus में, because as I'm saying this, I am thinking about my own journey that started in mid
I
80s
was
when
about to say so.
from a small town, I came to Lucknow University. Yeah, that was mid 80s, and I was the one to top to top the entrance list at that point of time, and. Probably when I got my admission in the hostel, I felt like little at home there, because there were many residents. They were from my district, Gonda district, and couple of people in other offices. They were from there, so that made me feel a little at home. But I still feel my recognition. Probably it didn't come initially because of my small town accent or whatever, but I still categorically remember one incident, because I used to answer various questions in the classroom, all those little things. And one day, one of my professors, Dr. A.K. Srivastava, he asked me when I replied some of his questions, and then he said, "Where are you from?" And I think that was my moment of being me, being recognized. And at that moment, I felt that sense of belonging in the bigger campus, coming from a very small town. And probably that day I felt, okay, now I'm included in this elite fraternity, community, whatever. So what, but still at the same time, there was my own self-engineering. And this is not the time to elaborate on that. It's all about what the campus offers to students like us, When I say us means small towners coming in the campus, big campus, and how to include them. They because they come from different backgrounds. So Tanu, as is the topic, inclusion and accepting diversity is the only answer to it. So this all can be prevalent along caste and ethnic lines, maybe social isolation, linguistically underrated, or any kind of isolation one can feel. So though higher education institute does not maintain, they do maintain vigil, and still I think some practices are so imbibed in our DNA that we fail to see them with naked eyes. Like if you all have the movie Thapad, देखी है आपने तनु Thapad?
Which one, ma'am? I थोड़ा shaky हो गया.
And there was this movie English English.
Yes, very good, beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So what I was saying, that sometimes these practices are so imbibed in our DNA that we don't see them, even if they are happening in front of our eyes. If you have watched the movie Thapad and English, it can give you a great mental visual where something happens, in the movie and just see the whole movie. You will not find even one scene where she is directly harassed or she is made to feel little in obvious terms. But throughout the film, there's the thing that you don't belong to an elite platform, because you don't know English, your pronunciation is not okay, and children, they are saying you can't attend the PTM because you don't know English, and are just because they were in convent. Similarly in the movie Thapad, one Thapad from husband to wife, it is taken as if this is the most normal thing. And when a lady, she stands up and refuses to take it, everybody, even the parental side and the in-laws side, even friends, closest friends, they fail to understand why she is making so much hue and cry for just one thappad, because thappad is seen as if there will logic like वो ऑफिस में परेशान हो, वो फ्रस्ट्रेट होगा और वो इतना सारा तुम उसकी अपनी हो, इसके तुम्हारे पर ने बुरा उतार दिया, ये सारी जो हम देखते हैं, probably this is so ingrained in our DNA that we can't see that that harassment, that bad treatment, that non-exclusion. So what should be done in the campus? Maybe I just want to give you one or two tips, which I'm sure all the universities they are doing, and I have not been in the campus since so long. But medium of instruction is probably very, very important if you have promoted inclusion, and practice it. Check who is comfortable and how they can be streamlined. So practice more interactions among students and also with the faculty, student and faculty, with more focus on students from socially isolated groups, giving them opportunity to manifest their otherwise talents. If they are not very good with English accent or the prevalent medium of it, probably they are otherwise talented. So they must get an opportunity to display those talents, which is beyond classroom. So social, cultural activity, trekking, hiking, or to our activities, to touch upon the non-academic domain. I think non-academic domains, they provide better opportunities to practice these things. And teacher-student interactions, they do promote a higher level of motivation in academics. This is I think, established fact. And stop looking into reservation as something given to someone in donation. It may be debatable on certain angle, but it is at the same time an equalizer to our social system. Reservation can certainly not be looked upon as a single element for deteriorating academic standards. This needs more reflection within the higher education institution campuses internal. Basically, they need more, there should be more internal culture of caring and mentoring. Sometimes even non-academic engagement, they about expected learning outcomes. A teacher's impact on one's life is indisputable, and the impact can last till the end of the life. It can evaporate even in class. That's how it is being taken in the classroom. It all depends on how a teacher, they planned to module their next generation in the classroom. So higher education institutions, they need to structure a mechanism for student-to-student interactions. You are saying something, Tanu?
Yeah, ma'am, going in the same lines, I was about to say this also, that the mentoring system with the teacher offers in the class or in the campus plays a big role. But to streamline it and to make it official,
absolutely.
Do you think some pedagogical changes or the curriculum reforms are also can be brought in to bring not only we're talking about in terms of diversity, in terms of multiculturalism, students from different backgrounds, plus gender, LGBT.
Multiculturalism,
And we do have students, LGBT group coming. Then we have even disabled, the students who are a little bit intellectually, but we have to create an inclusive society. So the things, employment, jobs, mentoring.
Society,
So the pedagogical and the curriculum change.
Exactly.
What do you see in terms of those?
I'm coming to that as well. Then I think that governance is the backbone of all the system, and we need a well-meaning administration. So this part is very, very important. And not patient only create cells and formulate committees, but what is more important, that these committees, they should not take sides, which generally happens, because as a matter of practice, the person on the lower ladder is twisted and made to bend. And I think campuses, they need to create this gender bias, as you said. No, it's a big no-no in any campus, and gender approach is so built in us. We don't see that wrong when a boy whispers a bad word to a girl, and or when a bindas girl is intimidated just because she has more freedom in her skin and dresses she wears on. So I think these practices need to be well taken in the campuses, and there should be absolute no for any kind of biases and exposure in the campus. Women issues, as you said, it is again part of curriculum, and it should be made part of curriculum. And it's a very priority segment. So under the garb of so-called empowerment, they should not be thrown into unsafe zone. What do you say?
Yeah. I think
So they are
attitudinal change
vulnerable to
is
sexual violence, and it calls for attitudinal change. Yes, and this calls for extra care and attention, and not within the campus, but even outside. And hostel even, because I was talking about management and governance. So even hostel management, they need very special attention, cleanliness of toilets for both girls and boys. Restrictions need to be reassessed and reviewed to see that कि कहीं पर वो life के rhythm को break ना करें. And pedagogy, yeah, it's a very broader term, and it refers to variety of teaching approaches that suits to the needs of a student from a variety, because they come from multi-cultural backgrounds, and their learning style is different, because they have not been even exposed to whatever now they are offered. So it's very important that the teacher, they remain sensitive to their needs, and
unbiased.
only a vibrant student institution, any institution, they should map on requirement and needs of all the learners. I'm sure these practices, they do happen, but I think they need much more attention. So support and mentoring, that must be guaranteed, Tanu. No, as you said, mentoring is different. It must be guaranteed. So I just want to tell you one very small story that my son is doing LLM. He is just finishing this September. He is doing it from a very well-known university in Delhi. So due to Corona, he could not even see the gates of that university, but the whole course was done online. So, like initially, I have never found his academic very great till graduation. But suddenly, in classes, grades has improved. So one day I was like very happy, and I said, how come this is happening? And you have become wiser and very mature and intelligent with your approach. So he said, Mom, my mentor is very good. And the professors, they very different, and they give so much of time for counseling. Whenever we ask anything, whenever I ask anything, they give lots of time. Lots of time is 45 minutes to 1 hour. So one mentor giving this much of time to a student, I think that's an example. Once I had been to Portland to a conference, and there was this lady from Korea, I think. And she was so nervous that when her turn for the presentation came, that she was not even able to make it even one half sentence. But the beauty of that conference room was that everyone in the room, including host, they cheered her up and asked her to continue in whatever language, in whatever she's comfortable. So I think they are the exemplary practices of inclusion, where you make somebody who is not like you, but being part of one of them. So it was an eye opener. Actually, I recreate the scene in India. If you recreate the same scenario in India, then you can see any girl in her place becoming an object of laughter for not being fluent in elite language, which is English again.
I think, ma'am,
So
this is the
I think higher education institute, they must ensure that no discrimination should take place. Yeah, yeah,
I think this is the
yeah.
point which we need in terms of
You said
pedagogy
something
and
I
the
couldn't hear.
curriculum. Hello.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, this is the point we need
exactly. So inclusion is the only mantra, and that all
because this is
students,
a
they need
differentiated.
support. Yeah,
Yes, yes. This is a differentiated pedagogy and the differentiated curriculum which caters to all, plus provides a scope for everyone to grow
curriculum.
and bloom. That
Yeah,
is something which is required, and you rightfully said that
exactly.
when
Yes,
you get a good mentor,
which is required.
although
Absolutely.
I have met your son Tanmay, is a bright kid always, but yes, mentoring has helped him bloom even more. So mentoring and the support and the encouragement which we get in the
Yeah,
campus creates an
yeah.
environment
So,
which supports and
yeah.
helps.
So
But
inclusion
since we
is
talked
the
about,
only mantra.
yes, yes. But ma'am, we talked about the human side.
Inclusion is the
I
only
would like,
mantra, and all students. Yeah, yeah.
uh, yeah, sorry, ma'am. I just wanted to ask you that we
I
touched
couldn't
upon the
hear you. I
uh,
couldn't hear
is it
you.
is it audible? Is it audible?
Now it is audible. Yeah,
Is it audible? Yeah. Ma'am, till now we touched upon the human side.
yeah.
I would like you to talk about the
Hmm.
infrastructural changes and the provisions which are
Um,
required to make the environment
okay,
more inclusive.
okay. Right, right. So, I was saying that inclusion is the only mantra, and all students, they need support and friendship and actually a kinder look, from the faculty. So common principles of inclusive pedagogy is should be the most welcome thing. Uh,
Yes, please.
you said about curriculum as well. The
Yes,
national
ma'am. Yes.
education policy. I think probably that is the reference for anything that seeks to ensure equity and inclusion. If you go to right to education 2000 yeah 2009 uh, under 12(1)(c), securing 25% seats for underprivileged children in school. This whole provision is implemented in the country, and it has changed the scenario in the society. Infrastructure, yes, you very rightly pointed out. In fact, talking on inclusive infrastructure is a passion to me. Wherever I go, my first thing is to look around and mapping what are the facilities and how friendly that infrastructure is. People generally don't understand the concept of inclusive infrastructure, unfortunately, in our country. I just want to quote a recent survey on facilitative infrastructure for differently abled persons. It was again done by my son, who, as I told you, he's finishing LLM. It was administered on 110 people from all sectors of the society, including top bureaucrats, young college students, housewives, businessmen, teachers, NGOs, etc. So only 25% they responded in affirmation, where no was 43% and maybe was 36%. What was more shocking was the respondents, they said that they have never noticed. They don't even bother to know whether the structure is inclusive or it is not. So probably many of us don't see infrastructure as inclusive infrastructure. So let higher education institution campuses not fall in this never noticed, or maybe by the administrative side at all. It's the job to feel it, notice it, work on it, and improve it. Inclusivity in infra is a key concern for governments worldwide. This is supported by SDGs as well as international conventions, be it G20 or UNESCO. Government of India has also launched this Accessible India campaign. I think that happened in 2015 probably, yeah, Sugam Bharat Abhiyan.
Yes.
Though the goals and commitments are yet to be attained as per deadlines, yet yet it has drawn a guideline to work on. The quality infrastructure has to be inclusive, as it helps reducing inequalities and disparities. If implemented effectively, it can help to maintain social equity in long term and also boost economic growth. Let not malls, airport and hospitals, they get the higher score. In fact, in Tanmay's research, these three, they got the higher score. I think that rather than, educational institutions, they should set out a model for that thing. They should provide the model to the society what an inclusive infrastructure could be. So I will I just want to talk about one of my experiences as well. I was visiting a government school, and this was 4 5 years back, and there was some budget provided to all those schools for ramps and to make it inclusion friendly. And this school, they built, they newly constructed a ramp, and the ramp was so uneven, it was so high inclined that I said कि इस पर तो मैं अपनी फ्लैट चप्पल पहन के भी नहीं चढ़ सकती हूँ. तो इस रैंप पर एक बार विजुलाइज करो कि व्हील चेयर पर कैसे कोई चढ़ सकता है. तो लेकिन if you go with that, like picking off facilities, so even that ramp will be noted as ramp, in that there is a ramp facility. So I was like wondering and asked the principal, how come you did not notice why this ramp is for, and who can you show me कि इस पर कैसे चलेंगे, कैसे चढ़ा जाए. So then he was like very embarrassed and said, no ma'am, I'll get it changed within 10-15 days, and I'll call you and send you photographs and all that. So this information I'm just saying because people, they don't feel sensitive about infrastructure when anything like this happens. Anything else on infrastructure?
I think, ma'am, this is this creates more urge to be an inclusive campus, because the more we'll study with the people of all diversity, we will become more sensitive citizens and human beings, so that we know how the another person feels. And moreover, as far as governance is concerned, you gave the example by
Yeah.
yourself that if the administrator is sensitive and aware, then as you looked up that the ramp was not constructed properly. So this calls for a real life sensitive observations and
It was
corrections,
not.
because otherwise it goes
And this
hand
does
in
not
hand.
need, this is not a rocket science, because the standard for any ramp is all over given. It's the same throughout worldwide. So nobody has to consult a new engineering book for a ramp building.
Exactly. And as you mentioned that,
So
in the
I
Tanvir,
think
this mall and cinema halls, and they all came as the highest scorers. It's a pity. It's a pity because
yeah,
malls
malls
and
number one, and then airport and hospitals. So
hospitals I
just
can
imagine,
understand.
see the
But
priority.
but the
uh,
real life things which we need in colleges, schools, wherein our children need to go and study, and they are lacking. So that means we, in a way, it is all commercialized thing. Okay, you can go for shopping easily, but you cannot go for studies easily. So going to malls and is
like
easy for
even
a
infrastructure, yeah. Some colleges and schools, if they have multiple story buildings, so it is possible that in the on the first floor, ground floor, they have ramp, and then there are steps, stairs. There is
in fact,
no
it's also
ramp
about
or lift,
it's
because
also
of
about gender
many
neutral
reasons,
washrooms.
and maybe deficit of sports. Yeah,
It's also about gender neutral
gender
washrooms.
neutral washroom. Yeah, even for disabled.
LGBT,
Yeah, yeah.
disabled,
So
LGBT. So, ma'am, in the end, I would
absolutely, I
like to
think
request you to.
campuses, they need to.
Uh, Sorry, ma'am. Please continue. Please continue. This, because of this snag in
No,
the.
no, no. You were saying something. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted
No,
to
I
request
think
you
this whole thing is so interesting.
that. Yes. In the end, if you can just give us some insights about or some steps or suggestions, to improve it overall and make it more effective, and how we
Okay,
can
okay,
model it.
okay. I think this is known to all. The only thing is that we need to be more sensitive and more caring, more in the status of mentoring rather, giving more counseling. So upholding the spirit of equality, equity and inclusion is everything. So placing it as cutting across element as it is done in national education policy as well, we need to do the same in the campuses. So some programs, they can be flagged as diversity initiatives. Like some foreign universities, they do even the diversity, they place diversity officers on campus. Indian universities and higher education institutions, they can also think on the same line because we are so, culturally rich in diversity. So we should be the pioneers come out with such things. And diversity and inclusion focused events host किए जाने चाहिए. Then I think orientation of the faculty to enhance understanding and awareness is very important. I visited one more school during, it was a upper primary school, and every teacher, they were so good. They had been to trainings and orientation. They were sensitive. And ऐसा नहीं कहा जा सकता था कि वो किसी को ध्यान में नहीं देते हैं. But as we were there, and so I asked one of my colleagues who was visiting, I said, okay, take one teacher along with and go and inspect the bathroom, that bathroom for disabled, जो दिव्यांग का बाथरूम वहाँ पर बना हुआ था. वो दोनों टीचर वहाँ पर गए और व्हील चेयर, मैंने कहा जो बच्चे का, देयर वाज जस्ट वन चाइल्ड इन द स्कूल, तो ऐसे व्हील चेयर भी लेके जाना. And both of them, they came back and said, ma'am, वो wheelchair वहाँ तक नहीं जा पा रही है. So technically there was this disabled friendly bathroom, but nobody even tried, despite the fact that all the teachers, they were like really good, have great sensitivity, good academics, good teachers. Two of them, they were state awardees. And, what I'm trying to say is that we need to enhance our understanding and sensitivity each moment for these things. To make all portals and websites inclusive and accessible as per Accessible India Guidelines, which is Sugam Bharat. हमारा जो basic education का website था, that was one of the first in the state to become inclusive websites. And I think we must need to focus on various minority groups, and mentoring program with set goals must come. Faculties, they must reflect and think about some minority, some program on minority groups and mentoring program. And the goals should be very, very clear and set and timelined. Before the students, they come for admission, I think organizing an orientation for them about the culture and spirit of the campus, which I think generally institutions, they do. But I think some more intensity is required, because if this pre-orientation is done for the campus to make them accustomed with the culture and spirit of the campus, that will definitely make them feel more belong to the campus. And then this is a option, for older students and faculties as well, because older student in the sense, sometimes an elderly person, they can take admission in the campus, and they have various responsibilities. So if it is possible to provide them this kind of option and for the faculty, so this brings peace of mind, and then they can better focus on the job. And providing faculty with resources to understand diversity and inclusion practices for diverse classrooms, so they can be sent for different kind of courses. IIEP, UNESCO Paris, they host different small courses. I have attended one in educational planning for disability sector, and that was like 3 months program. It was such an eye opener. So I think faculties, they need to be enrolled in such kind of programs where they can enhance their understanding and sensitivity. Cultural clubs, which is a sort of norm in educational campuses. But then again, that focus, reflection should be included here, and the faculty in charge and people, they can talk and sit and decide on activities. And linguistic diversity and communication skill, they are very important in the whole gamut of things. These two things, they need to be imbibed in the very culture of the campus. Start courses, even citizenship education, courses. I think you were talking about curriculum and pedagogy. So in curriculum, we must include citizenship education as it is given in National Education Policy, and skills to module your product. When I put that means students, because they need to be ready for the global challenges, and the world is very, very diverse. As you said, some courses on women empowerment, and uh, as this killer thing has for transgenders and LGBT communities. So we need to start small courses for them, short-term courses, even for the faculty. So one can start with faculty orientation and then coming to those regular courses. So make room for various cultural groups and minorities. They should come by choice, not by chance. So I think these are only few I can think of. So
No, no,
I'm sure
that's
all are known to each of us in theory, and probably here is a chance to practically implement a practice 360-degree approach. Diversity and inclusion do support improvement in teaching and learning processes. People learn and enrich their abilities. It enriches critical thinking and creativity as conversations and engagements across differences goes there. Access, opportunities, the choice is probably these words to be picked up to create inclusion. So one must learn these words: access, opportunities, inclusion. These things, they should come as mantra. जैसे हम ओम का जाप करते हैं, उस तरह से इनको हमारी लाइफ में इम्बाइब होना चाहिए. And we Indians, we are so proud to live in a country, which has a multiple layered diversities. आप साउथ से नॉर्थ में आइए, नॉर्थ से साउथ में जाइए, 10 किलोमीटर पर आपको सारी चीजें चेंज दिखाई देती हैं. और जब मैं ये सोच रही थी, तो मुझे वो भी याद आ रहा था, हिंद देश के निवासी सभी जन एक हैं, रंग रूप वेश भाषा चाहे अनेक, है ना. हमारा बचपन बीता है इन चीजों को सुनते हुए. तो for us Indians, diversity, inclusion is not a foreign word. We don't have to draw anything from anywhere. It is so much in our soil. We just need to reflect, pick it up with more sensitivity and reorient ourselves. And it's not like you just module a program and launch it and forget about it. It's all about how it is doing, reviewing, mentoring, counseling. I think these things, they will definitely lead us to equal and inclusive world. And we all need that. We all need, no matter what profession you are, no matter what gender you belong to, no matter how high you are in the society, you are placed in the society, or whatever is your stature. Inclusion is one thing everyone requires from any age group, anything. So this is all from my side, Tanu.
Thank you, ma'am. And you wrapped it up so beautifully. Rang Roop Bhesh Bhasha Hum Chahe Anek hai. We all are one. And diversity is the beauty that every student, every individual brings his or her unique contribution to the campus, to the school, to the society. So inclusion and diversity, inclusion is going to end the discriminatory attitudes and prejudices, as you rightfully talked about. And if we aim at making a just society, and a just world, we need to end up with the discrimination. And the suggestions which you gave in the last, they are something which are going to be written and make a monologue of it or record it, because I think that you talked about the faculty orientation, and it gave me this idea that appoint the faculty, diverse faculty appointments. Why not bring a faculty or the teachers or the staff belonging to different cultures or LGBT or different disabled? Why not be the part of it? They will be more sensitive towards the need. They are the ones who can give you the real insight and bring changes and make more sensitive. And the more we learn to live with diverse individuals, the more we interact, the more we'll be sensitive, the more we'll be aware, more will be changes, and more we'll gel together and make the world a better place. Rightfully said. So I thank you, ma'am. It was wonderful as expected and from you. Very interactive, wonderful, and so many apt suggestions. So many apt suggestions which will go a long way. So again, thank you from my personal side and also from behalf of Nirvan University for this wonderful session and the insights. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank-
Thank you, Ashish, for hosting this,
Thank
and
you, ma'am.
Tanu for inviting me again.
Thank you, ma'am. My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you for your wonderful session. On behalf of Indian Institute of Materials and Management and Nirvan University, Jaipur, I personally thank you, and on behalf of the institution also. It will be a nice gesture of presence of your ears, and we will definitely to have some your wisdom of words in future again for the some burning issues of the current society and in the benefit of the education scenario. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you, ma'am.
much.
Thank you.